Welcome associates, gather on the stand. This trial's a circus, but I've got a plan. Not a grifter, still worse than Dan. Hopscotch squares, don't tip, don't fall. BK and a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8 ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? Me be the diva, she's running the show. Two Capone and Meg, yeah, everybody knows. Fat or fat, well, nobody knows. What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle. Hopscotch squares, don't tip, don't fall. BK and a felony, I've heard it all. Shake it, magic 8 ball. Tell me the truth, will justice call? What the corn echoes as the chaos grows. My credibility left in a vehicle.
Hello, I think. I have no idea if this is working or not because StreamYard has a message that it may not be working. All right, Heidel's here. I'm very late because I didn't know if it was going to work. I have no idea what's going on. StreamYard said that YouTube's having issues. Imagine. I know, it's hard. But, so I think I'm going. Heidel's here, so I think I'm good. Oh my goodness. Okay. What's up, Snipe? How are you? I know. Where is everybody? I was like, maybe I got my days wrong. Wouldn't surprise me. Whatever. But welcome. I'm glad you guys are here and you can see me. Did any of you watch any of the that trial out of Texas today? That one is sad. I know, I don't know what's happening. I was looking to see if a verdict had came in or something, too. Plus, I had this message going on, like in StreamYard, that said that YouTube's having issues. So I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know what's happening. We'll just go. Do it like old school, when you just hit go and nobody was there. It's fine. It's all good. Anyway, that trial in Texas about the FedEx driver who allegedly kidnapped that little 7-year-old girl, did horrible things to her, and then put her in the Trinity River, which the Trinity River flows by, I think that flows by where Carmen is going. Or going. I was reading this. Obviously, rivers are very long. That river doesn't start and stop by Carmen's house. It was just weird. So here's a weird twist for you, Snipe. I have not watched that trial, but Robin C. came in and said that trial is in Paradise. This Texas trial, Paradise. Like, what is going on? What's going on? Paradise and then Cottondale, which they are, I think, two small town, small Texas towns. Really sad case. Oh, he did plead guilty? I didn't realize that. I was like, dude, if he hadn't have pled guilty, there's pictures of him in the truck with the little girl. So, I'm like, you're screwed. And the opening statements, they were talking about the DNA, which should be not, his DNA was in places that little girls age 7 should not have DNA. Especially if somebody they don't know. So Yikes. But watching her mom or her stepmom testify today was really sad. Her teacher testified, was sad. And then there was some, I think a federal agent maybe. I don't remember who the last guy was that I watched. But I can't, when men get choked up, it like kills me. I don't know what it is. I can't handle it. Like, don't cry. Like, I don't want you to not cry, but it just hurts my heart. What's up tonight? And no, not the Texas thing. Wait, now I'm confused. Shenny. Gosh dang, I just called you Snipe. I'm so sorry. I think the redhead was her stepmom. Was a little girl's stepmom. But you know what? This guy... I used to be like very pro capital punishment. And I don't know if I am still so much anymore, only because it takes so long. It costs so much money. It costs more money to keep them on death row than it does just to keep them in there for life. Just keep them in there for life. That's not a good life to live. What's up, Ronnie? At least I called you by your right name. I called Shenny Snipe. Oh, Shenny, I apologize. You and Snipe look nothing alike. Nothing alike. What's up, Ash? By the way, the conversation I saw going on in Discord from this morning was hilarious. And it made me think of Carmen's typo yesterday that she was talking about in chat. She was texting her, you do sound close. Oh, don't apologize. It was funny. It was funny. I just didn't get to see it till later today. But so Carmen was texting her supervisor yesterday, and because Carmen works nights, and she didn't know if she was going to get called in. So she was just texting her supervisor to tell her or him, I don't know who it was, that, hey, she was doing her routine that she does when she gets off of work, even though she hadn't worked Sunday. That's her day off. And she's like, I ate my Lunchable, but, nutrition. And when I get home, I eat my Lunchable, I feed the dog, I eat the cat, and I talk to Cheyenne. And I was like, you shouldn't say that, Carmen. She's like, feed the cat, feed the cat. And then, but her supervisor just like glossed over it. never even saw it. And I was like, how do you not see that? That was hilarious. It's like, I knew you'd appreciate that, Ash. You are both old, but Snipe is older. Oh, okay. All right. So today, we are going to finish up the state's case. They are going to rest. Thank goodness. Because I can't handle much more of this guy. I cannot handle much more of this prosecutor's questioning. I just can't. The Hawaii, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Wow. I have no idea. But this prosecutor, I can tell you, is paint drying is more interesting and would ask questions faster than he can, and probably in better succession. Like, draw the line. But we are going to see Monica Tetzlaff. I don't know how you say her last name. First, she was in jail with Dixie. So I don't know if she's an actual jailhouse snitch. I have no idea. I don't know if she's going to testify too. I haven't watched it. We'll see. And then the other one is the last state witness is a criminalist. So, yay. And then the state's going to rest. And then on Thursday, Tetzlaff. It's Tetzlaff. However you say that. And then on Thursday, we get to see Dixie's testimony. We'll start it Thursday. We'll finish it on Monday. So I'm going to assume part 1 is probably her attorney asking questions, and maybe part 2 is hopefully not the prosecutor asking questions for the same amount of time. Shani, I'm with you. My brain it's toast at the moment, and yeah. What's up, Sarah? How are you? Uh-oh. Well, you are welcome to chill with us. So, okay, well, let's see who this Monica is, shall we? Like I said, I know the testimony. The testimony hasn't been awful, but the questions have been dry as your toast, Snipe. So I know that part of this trial it's been really kind of boring. The trial overall is interesting to me, and I can't wait to talk about it at the end. I'll leave it at that. All right. Let's bring on Monica. I am not smelling burnt toast. I promise. And I hope Snipe isn't either. Or Shinny.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you tell the jury your name, please?
Monica Tetzlaff,
And what is your address?
number 1, Council Bluffs.
Council Bluffs?
You're going to have to speak quiet.
Okay.
They have to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I should tell you that that microphone is not an amplification for the courtroom. It's for the coverage.
Okay.
You said you live in Council Bluffs?
Yes.
How long have you lived down there in Council Bluffs?
I was born and raised there, but this last time I've been there for approximately 4 months.
You're going to keep your voice up.
Sorry.
All right. Have you ever lived in the Shelby County, Harlan, Iowa area?
Yes, I have.
When was that?
It was from like 90 to 2001.
Now, I don't mean to embarrass you, but you do have a criminal record.
Yes, I do.
And could you tell the jury what convictions you have on your criminal record?
On my criminal, 5th degree theft, which is check charges on my own account, and possession of methamphetamine and marijuana.
And those drug charges, are those felonies?
Yes.
And in fact, is it one of those charges that you were on probation for last year?
Yes.
In fact, you're on probation right now.
Yes.
And which one of those charges was that?
Possession with intent to deliver.
And that charge, possession with intent to deliver, that's a felony charge. And as of last October of 2003, you were on probation for that charge.
Yes.
What happened at that point on those charges?
I had a relapse and I tested positive for methamphetamine, and they arrested me and put me in jail.
And that was part of your probation, and probably still is. You have to give, whenever they ask you, you have to give a sample so they can test it.
Yes.
And that still is one of your conditions of probation?
Yes.
Do you recall what date it was that you were arrested for that violation of your probation?
October 9th,
And where were you arrested at?
Council Bluffs.
And that was actually on a charge that originated up here in Shelby County.
Yes.
So you were in Council Bluffs, that's where they tested you, you failed the test, and they arrested you right there.
Yes.
Did they ultimately transport you up here to Shelby County?
Yes, about 4 days later.
So when was it you would have arrived at the Shelby County Jail?
I believe it was October 13th.
And that would have been October 13th of 2003.
Yes.
How long were you in the Shelby County Jail here in Harlan?
From October 13th to November 25th.
Now, during that time, did you ever have occasion to meet a person by the name of Dixie Shanahan?
Yes, I did.
Do you recognize her in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Could you point her out for us, please?
Right there.
Your Honor, let the witness, or the record show the witnesses identified the defendant. How was it you came to meet her, the defendant, Dixie Shanahan?
She was brought in and
Brought into the jail?
brought into the jail, yes, sir.
Okay. And did you have some contact with her then?
Yes, it was just me and her. Well, the first day that she was brought in, there was another woman in the cell with us, and then she was released, and it was just me and Dixie.
Just the two of you in the women's part of the Shelby County
Yes.
Jail? And how long were the two of you together in the Shelby County Jail?
9 or 10 days.
I'm not familiar with the jail. Do you share a cell, or how much contact do you have with?
It's a very small cell. It's with a bunk bed, and there's just it's a very small cell.
So you have contact with each other pretty much all day, all
All day.
night? During this time, well, let me ask you this: when the defendant first became an inmate with you at the Shelby County Jail, did you ask her what she was in for? Did she have anything to say?
I did ask her, and at first she said she just didn't want to talk about it.
And as the days went on, did you and the defendant have any further discussion about why she's in jail?
Yes, at first it was because she was a material witness to a murder, and then she left for a day, and I guess she had gone to court, and she come back, and they said they charged her with murder.
Now, after she learned that, did she open up a little bit with you about what had
Yes.
happened? Is that a pretty common thing among inmates to discuss why they're in jail? What
Yes.
happened? Did you tell her why you were in jail?
Yes.
Did she sit down and in one setting, did the defendant just tell you everything that happened?
No.
It was over the course of several days?
Yes.
Could you tell us what she did tell you about what had brought her to become charged with murder in the case?
Well, she said that she killed her husband, and
Did she say how that had happened?
she said that there was a fight, that it was in the morning, there was a fight, and it was over her baby because she was pregnant at the time. And he wanted her to abort the baby, or he would get rid of it any way that he could.
All right. Make sure you keep your voice up as loud as you
Okay.
can. So there was a fight. Did she describe what kind of fight this was?
It was a verbal, well, the way I understood it, it was a verbal fight, but he pulled the gun on her and then went back to bed after things calmed down, and she went and got the gun and shot him
Now, did she say where she shot him?
in the back of the head,
Did she say where he was when she shot him?
in bed.
Did she say anything about the gun?
That she wasn't sure if it would fire right because there was 2 different size shells in it.
That's what she told you?
Yes.
Did she say, you said he was lying in bed, shot in the back of the head, the gun had 2 different size shells in it.
Yes.
Did she say anything else about how it happened?
No.
Now, at some point, did the defendant leave the jail When I say the defendant, I mean Dixie Shanahan.
She left to be charged with, when they charged her with the murder, that's when she was gone.
But then after that, did she finally get out of jail before you were?
Oh, yes, she was released at the end of October.
Now, up to the point in time where she told you about what had happened, you just described for us, you hadn't had any contact with any of the deputies or anything about?
No.
Okay. And then she left the jail. The defendant, Dixie Shanahan, left the jail. She bonded out. At that point, did Chief Deputy Mark Hervey approach you and ask you whether you talked with her about what had happened?
Yeah, it was like the next day he came and he asked me if there was any conversation about what happened between us.
Was that the first time he'd ever asked you that?
Yes.
And what did you say?
I said yes.
And what happened then?
Well, I had been sentenced to Mitchellville Prison, violators program, and I had said to him, I said, well, for the information that she had given me, if I could maybe get out of going to the violators and sentenced to the RCF, I'd in exchange for that, I would.
All right. And what did Mark say?
He said he would see what he could do, but he can't say for sure.
He couldn't promise you anything?
No.
All right. So did you then tell him what you just told the jury?
Yes.
And I think ultimately he did make a recommendation that you be continued on probation, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, you told Mark Hervey just what you've told the jury. You told him that on, is it October 30th of 2003?
Yes.
And you told him on October 30th that the defendant told you the gun had two different size shells in it.
Yes.
Do you know when the gun in this case was actually recovered?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Monica, you've had numerous occasions to be involved in the criminal justice system, correct?
Yes.
And when you said fifth-degree theft, there wasn't just one fifth-degree theft, was there?
No.
Can you even remember how many?
No.
And there wasn't just one drug case, was there?
No.
You're pretty familiar with the system, aren't you?
Yes.
You know how it works, don't you?
Yes.
Are you a trained interviewer?
No.
Were you asking Dixie a lot of questions while she was in the cell with you?
I asked questions, yes.
Did you read a newspaper article about the case also?
Yes.
And your information that you have occurred in bits and pieces over a period of days. It wasn't conducted in some sort of interview format, correct?
No.
And you didn't take any notes, did you?
No.
So you're left with some impressions, aren't you?
Yes.
Did Dixie tell you who loaded the gun?
She said that Scott.
Scott loaded the gun. That's what she told you, right?
Yes.
She tell you what she was afraid of?
For her life and the baby's life.
You had originally been sentenced to go to the violators program and go to the women's reformatory in Mitchellville, hadn't you?
Yes.
And because of the information you gave in this, you didn't have to go, did you?
No, I was sentenced to the residential correctional facility in Council Bluffs.
So you got a break
Yes.
because of this information.
Yes.
This all happened in a morning. Is that correct? Is that what she told you?
Yes.
Did she tell you if Scott was awake or asleep?
He was awake.
How long did you stay in jail?
From October 9th to November 25th.
And did you go straight from jail to the residential correctional facility?
Yes, I did.
Do we sometimes call that a halfway house?
Yes.
Now, you say that Dixie got the gun, correct?
Yes.
Did she tell you where the gun was?
No.
Do you have any idea where the gun was?
No.
Do you know how long an interval of time there was?
No.
In fact, you're not the person who suggested that she went to get the gun. Didn't Deputy Hervey suggest that to you and you agree?
I don't think so.
You don't know, do you?
No.
I don't have any other questions.
Well, I don't think you ever said that, did you, in your testimony about getting the gun?
I don't recall.
She did tell you that he was lying in bed,
Yes.
that she had taken the shotgun.
Yes.
She looked in the shotgun to see if it was loaded.
Objection. That is not what she said.
You'll have to ask her that direct question.
Okay. What did she tell you about how the shotgun was loaded?
She said that there was 2 different size shells in it.
Oh, no, wait.
And then she said she shot him in the back of the head
Yes.
while he was lying in bed.
Yes.
And you told, she told you this while she was in jail. You told Mark Hervey that on October 30th of 2003.
Yes.
And you don't know when the gun was recovered in this case, do you?
No.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Don't know. She probably got a pretty sweet deal, though. Sounds like, right? I mean, she's been arrested so many times she can't even tell you how many. Hang on one sec. Let me get the next video going. And then, she did not say that Dixie loaded the gun. And also, I don't know why it just came into my mind while we were sitting there watching her, for all people. How about, because it's bothered me that she got him in the back of the head. That has bothered me. But let's say, is it possible maybe she went back to the bedroom to get the phone, grabbed, even though that is a big, that's a big firearm. It's not a handgun where you're just gonna, be able to easily carry it, get it ready to fire and do so. That thing is huge. Is it possible that maybe she had it, that she grabbed it when she walked into the bedroom, just in case he did get up? He was sleeping in bed, but he moved, and she got scared, and then did it because she, it scared her. I don't know. Sure, Haley. I mean, that maybe she thought that the threat was going to be imminent again, like, because maybe she thought he was going to get up, but he didn't. Maybe he just moved. I have no idea. I don't know. If it was the only chance you get, she would take it. I think you guys are probably right about that. He could have been turning around to get out of bed to beat her again, and she reacted fast. True. Or maybe she thought he was turning around to come get her. But in reality, he wasn't. Because do you guys think then, if he was not laying in bed, if he was not laying with his back towards her, when she came in the room. Do you think after she did that, that she tucked the pillow in between his leg and under his left arm? Because if it was on his left arm, under his left arm, I would assume he was laying, well, he would have been laying on his left side with the way that bed was. But here's the other thing. I was telling my husband about this last night. I was like, the smell blows my mind that she hid that. Okay, good for her. Don't know what she figured out. Did they ever mention that they found any blood spatter anywhere in that room? Or did I just miss it? Or like bone fragments or any other matter? Because that we saw, well, Gabby called it a cave, so I'll just call it a cave, that it left when she fired. It had to be messy, right? So was she just really, really good about cleaning all of that up too? I'm telling you, she could have gotten away with this. Normally, this would clearly not be self-defense, but with battered spouse syndrome, they can argue that her perception of what an imminent threat is could be different from that of a normal person. True. If he heard her come in the room, he could have said she would get it when he got up. And he did tell her, the day's not over. You won't be alive by the end of the day. I think he was asleep. I think it should be something less than red rum. What's up, Bobby? You're making steak and taters. Yummy. I think the projectiles were so small that likely much of the debris remained in his head. And then went away. Oh my gosh. In a way, maybe she wanted to show mercy while also wanting him to suffer. True. She could have figured out how to stage him in the bed, but then again, DNA and splatter would be elsewhere had he not been in bed. Yes, he had to be in the bed because she would have had to drag him over there, right? What's up, Flashman? So I don't think that happened. I think he was in bed. I don't think he was still alive after that. I'm gonna say probably not. What'd you say, Snipe? Because I didn't get it. At 10 feet, a shotgun makes a hole right through. Well, we only saw the back, right? I think if she had help, she would have gotten rid of him. And I think if she would have gotten rid of him, she would have got away with it. That's just my opinion. Maybe she was a particularly strong woman, and it's not like he was a very large man. I mean, but you see her in court, she's not... That's not the kind of bang he was hoping for. Lividity would show if the body was in a different position when he died. Even after all that time, because he was partially skeletonized and partially mummified. And there was a lot of stuff in the bed. Just saying. Without saying. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Just food for thought. Because we're not getting steak and taters like Bobby is. But that's okay, Bobby. We didn't want any. Adrenaline is crazy. It is crazy. You hear like moms lifting things off their kids. All right, so here we have our last witness. It's the criminalist. If he's a slow talker, I may speed him and the prosecutor up just a tad. Was it birdshot or buckshot? I don't know. There seemed to be a large number of pellets in the imaging, which makes me think birdshot. I think you had said you thought it was birdshot when we were looking at all that evidence. I don't know that stuff. Because of decomp, it's harder to use lividity as a factor. Yes, last witness. Are you talking to me, Flashman? Or did I miss something? This is the last witness for the state. It was birdshot? Okay, I will take your word for it. Snipe, I don't know. Yes, this is the last witness of the state, not the trial. We will see Dixie on Thursdays. Flashman.
Would you state your name for the record for the jury, please?
Yes, Victor Michael Murillo. Last name is spelled Murillo.
And where do you live?
I live in the Des Moines area.
What is your occupation?
I'm employed as a criminalist with the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigations State Crime Laboratory in Des Moines, Iowa.
How long have you been a criminalist with the State Crime Lab?
I've been with the laboratory since July of 1982, as a criminalist since June of 1985.
Beginning in 1985, what were your duties as a criminalist?
In 1985, I began as a criminalist working in the firearms and tool mark section, actually doing some gunshot residue testing procedures where we look at the hands of individuals for residue to indicate that they may have handled or discharged a firearm. I also worked in the arson and explosives section of our laboratory and trace evidence section where we look at miscellaneous types of evidence such as paint, glass, rubber, a lot of the smaller types of evidence that some of the other sections don't really want to look at, but I was given those duties.
And what is your present assignment?
Currently, I work full-time in the firearms and tool mark section of the lab. I also do some serial number restoration and gunshot residue distance determination, as well as some crime scene examination.
And how long have you been with specializing strictly with the firearms investigation division?
Since 1989.
Could you tell the jury what kind of training, specialized training, or background education you've had to qualify you for this kind of work?
Yes, I have an Associate of Arts degree in criminalistics from the Des Moines Area Community College in Ankeny, Iowa, 2-year degree program. I also have a 4-year degree from Drake University, Bachelor of Arts General Studies, where I took a lot of science classes that were related to my current field of work. So I took a lot of biology, a lot of chemistry classes to help me with my job. As far as in-house training, most of our training after we become a criminalist comes within the laboratory, looking at different types of evidence that we're going to be looking at in an actual case. So for my current duties, a lot of my training involved working with other criminalists in my section, looking at a lot of different firearms, looking at bullets, looking at cartridge casings, shot shell casings, shot shell components, trying to match bullets to one another, match cartridge casings to one another, trying to figure out how different firearms work, how the safeties work, whether they function or not, whether they function correctly, making sure that they're safe before I can test fire them so that I can produce known test-fired bullets and cartridge casings, which will ultimately be used to compare to unknown bullets and casings that we find at the scene of a crime.
And in the course of your duties as a criminalist, have you received evidence in this case to examine and test and to reach conclusions on?
Yes, I did.
Was one of the first pieces of evidence you received some samples or specimens, I guess would be a correct description, collected from the body of Scott Shanahan during an autopsy?
Yes.
What particularly do you recall you received and were asked to look at and examine in this case?
Actually, on return of the crime scene, our crime scene team asked me to look at a couple of items very quickly before it was actually submitted to the lab properly. And that's fairly common. I have several detectives that come to the door and ask me to look at something very quickly and see if I can give a determination as to what that item is or how it can be helpful to them. Paul Bush, who's one of the criminalists in the laboratory, excuse me, who I think already testified in this case, brought a shot shell wad and some shot into my section, asked me to look at it, see if I could make a preliminary determination as to what these items were.
Do you recall approximately when this was?
It would have had to have been the day after they came back from the crime scene, or maybe even the same day that they returned from the crime scene.
Would it have been after the, excuse me, autopsy of Scott Shanahan?
Yes.
And we have heard from the state medical examiner that occurred on October 21st. So this would have been right around October 21st, 22nd of 2003.
Yes.
Now, was there a weapon that they had at that point for you to look at?
No, there was not.
Just some items recovered from the body of Scott Shanahan.
That's correct.
This has been received into evidence. Let me put it up on the monitor, and I think you should be able to see it as well as the jury. This is Exhibit 51. And do you recognize what's shown in this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
Can you identify that for the jury?
Yes, the two larger pieces that you see there are actually part of a plastic shot cup. It's in the form of a cup. It's actually used to hold all of the shot or the spherical pellets that are inside of the shotgun ammunition, and they kind of protect the barrel as all the shot moves down the barrel and towards the target. They're actually quite a bit deformed now because they've obviously impacted something very hard. There are two pieces of plastic wadding that you see there, the one on the right, which you can kind of see the overall diameter of that wad. There's kind of a circular piece at the bottom of that part of the wad. The wad actually has 4 petals. There are actually slits along the sides of the wad, and as it's fired from the shotgun barrel, those petals can open up, kind of like a parachute. The wind hits them, and they will open up or flower out. The piece that you see on the left-hand side is actually a piece of one of those petals that's actually broken away from the other main portion of that wad. The other items that you see there on the top left-hand corner or the top middle portion of that photograph are 6 pieces of shot. They were pieces of lead, spherical pellets that were recovered from the victim as well.
And just so we're clear, the pieces of plastic wadding would be this piece here
That's correct.
and this piece here.
Yes.
And those formed one shot cup. Is that the correct way to put it?
That's correct. It's one shot cup. Obviously, not all of it is present. There may still be some pieces that are missing, but that is probably about 60% of the original shot cup.
Let me show you. It's been marked as Stakes Exhibit 62. Is this a diagram that shows the cross-section of a shotgun shell and the kind of shot cup we're speaking about here?
Yes, it does.
Will this help you further explain your testimony?
It might, yes.
Your Honor, the state offers into evidence State's Exhibit number 62.
No objection.
62 is admitted.
So let me put this Exhibit 62 on the monitor for the jury to take a look at and try to fit it all in there. Could you describe to the jury what we're seeing in Exhibit 62?
Yeah, this is a copy of a flyer that's actually manufactured and distributed by Winchester, the maker of quite a bit of ammunition that's distributed here in the U.S. and abroad. This is a typical shotgun shell showing some of the internal components of that shell. At the bottom of the shell is labeled a piece called a primer.
You might be able to use this if you want to just point down at the diagram with it. That might help you with your testimony.
Bottom portion of the shot shell here is called a primer. That's kind of like a little spark plug inside of the shot shell. When the firing pin of the shotgun hits that primer, it causes the primer to kind of explode or create a spark on the inside of the shot shell, which will in turn ignite the powder, which is located at the base of the shot shell just above the primer. There's quite a bit of smokeless powder that's present there. When that powder burns at a very high rate, creates a lot of pressure inside of the shot shell, and it pushes both the wad, this plastic wad, which you can see starts from the base here and goes actually all the way up to the top of the shot shell. There's a couple of plastic pieces here which actually compress a little bit when that shot shell is fired and kind of thrust some of the shot shells or the pellets down the barrel as it's being fired. And the portion that we were talking about, the cup portion of the wad, is actually up on top, and that's what holds all of the spherical pellets. The pellets you can see in the little window at the top of the shot shell.
So the two pieces that Paul Bush brought you to take a look at that we saw in Exhibit 51, they would be found in what part of this Exhibit 62?
It would actually be part of that large white portion of the shot shell. Both the middle section and the pedal that we were talking about would actually be a part that surrounds the shot at the top of the shot shell.
This would be in this area here, kind of a sleeve, plastic sleeve.
Yeah, it's kind of a sleeve, but it does have slits in it, as I mentioned before, that are sticking up into the shot shell, and it's designed to release the shot when it's being fired and allow the shot to go towards the target.
Now, so when Paul Bush brought these items to you, were you able to, you said you looked at them, were you able to reach a conclusion as to what kind of ammunition this was?
Yes, by looking at the wad, at the base of the wad, I could tell what the diameter was, or general diameter, and at that point I told him we were probably looking at a 20 gauge shot shell size of the wad. Looking at the construction of that wad that we saw in the earlier picture, you could see the little zigzag pieces of plastic. Those are also present on this wad, so I knew that it was probably manufactured by Winchester as a common component of some of their lighter shot shells, where some of their lighter shot or smaller shot is used in their shot shells. The green color that you see there really is of no significance. I've seen them in several different colors before, including white, pink, darker green color, sometimes red in other manufacturers, but this one just happens to be kind of a greenish color. Other than that, I looked at the shot as well. A couple of different things that we can do with the spherical pellets. We can try and determine what they are made of, whether it's steel or lead, or sometimes some of the newer shot shells are made of bismuth or tungsten, some newer materials. This one happens to be very common. It is lead. It's very soft material. You can just scratch it and tell that it's lead. It's not metallic. There's a couple of other tests that we can do as well to make sure that it is in fact lead, which is a very common component of a lot of shot shells that are made today. I weighed all of the pellets, and then I can also measure them to try and get an idea of the overall size of those pellets, or the numbered size that was loaded into this particular shot shell. In this case, I determined that they were of number 6 size, which means that they were approximately 11 hundredths of an inch in diameter by both weighing and measuring the diameter of the pellets.
And at this stage, without having a weapon available to you to test in October of 2003, what were you able to conclude about these specimens recovered from Scott Shanahan and what had caused his death?
Not a lot that we can tell you other than it came from a 20-gauge shot shell, probably a 20-gauge shotgun. The shot is used in a lot of different types of shot shells, whether it's 410 all the way to 12 gauge. So we can't tell you a lot about the shot other than it probably didn't come from a duck or goose load, which is usually steel. So really all I could say is that we were looking for a 20-gauge shotgun, probably a 20-gauge shot shell that had number 6 lead shot in it, and it was probably manufactured by Winchester.
And when you say you were probably looking for a 20-gauge shotgun, why would you say that?
Well, this particular type of shot shell component is loaded in a 20-gauge shot shell, and a 20-gauge shot shell should be used in a 20-gauge shotgun. It's not common to interchange those, or you're not supposed to interchange the different sizes of shot shells in a shotgun. It can be very dangerous to do.
Later on, and if you have any notes that you need to refer to, feel free to, but later on, did you receive some another item to examine in this case?
Yes, at a later time. Well, actually, I looked at these items again more closely at a later time after I initially looked at them, and a report was written as to the results that we've just talked about.
But then after, I was just going to ask you, at some point after you were totally done working with these items here, did you receive anything else at the lab to examine?
Yes, Special Agent Jobs brought in a shotgun at a later time and asked me to look at it as well.
Can you tell us approximately when it was that you would have received it at the lab?
Sure. This particular shotgun was submitted to the laboratory on January 16th of 2004, so just about 3.5 months ago. There were some other items that he brought into the laboratory as well, but that's the one that I was asked to look at, which included a shotgun. He told me that there was an empty shell casing in the chamber and another shot shell that was in the magazine tube, that I might want to take a look at it and make sure that it was safe before we actually stored it in the laboratory. So I took it out of the box. I did handle it for prints. In other words, I put gloves on. I made sure that I handled it properly, laid it out on the floor, and I took some photographs of the condition of the shotgun.
Let me stop you right there. States Exhibit 58. Do you recognize that photograph?
Yes, I do.
And what is Exhibit 58?
State's Exhibit number 58 is simply a photograph that I took of this particular shotgun, showing the overall condition of the gun, including a cable lock that was used to run through the action of the shotgun to make it safe.
And does Exhibit 58 fairly and accurately depict the gun as you found it when you received it from Agent Jobs?
Yes, it does.
Your Honor, the state offers into evidence State's Exhibit number 58.
No objection.
58 is admitted.
Put up Exhibit 58. We've seen a photograph of this gun when it was recovered from the bedroom of the Shanahan residence, but this photograph here was a photograph you made when you received it. Is that right?
That's correct. I just simply laid it on the floor in our office and took a couple of photographs front and back before I did anything with it.
All right. After you made the photographs of it in this condition, what was the first thing you did to examine it?
Once I took photographs of it in this particular condition, I wanted to obviously unload the shotgun, make sure that there wasn't a live shell that was in the chamber. Again, just trying to make it safe before we could store it so that I could look at it at a later time. First thing I had to do, obviously, was to get rid of the cable lock. I just took a pair of bolt cutters that I have in my laboratory and cut it, removed the cable lock from the shotgun. The next thing that I did is I looked down the chamber. I noticed that there was a shot shell casing in the chamber of the shotgun. The shot shell casing would not come out. I couldn't get it out by just trying to pull it with my finger. I had to take a cleaning rod, just simply a long rod that I shoved down the muzzle end of the barrel, and I pushed on the shot shell casing to forcefully remove it from the chamber. I also noticed that there was a live shot shell that was in the magazine tube. The magazine tube is a long cylindrical tube that runs parallel with the barrel, directly underneath the barrel, and you can see it about halfway down the barrel. It stops. It's a magazine tube. It can be loaded with several shot shells, and they can be worked with the action of the bolt, in this case, and can be eventually loaded into the chamber so that it can be fired as well. But the magazine tube in this case had one live shot shell in it as well. I couldn't get the shot shell out like you would normally get it out through the back side of the magazine tube, and I had to simply take the shotgun apart, removed a couple of screws, and forcefully push that shot shell out of the magazine tube. Once I did that, I took a couple more pictures showing the casing and the live shot shell that I had removed from the shotgun.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 59 and ask you if you can identify that photograph for us.
Yes, I can.
And what is Exhibit 59?
State's Exhibit number 59 is a photograph that I took, again, in the laboratory, which shows the fired casing on top and the live shot shell that came from the magazine tube underneath the shotgun.
And does that fairly accurately show the gun as it was and the shot shells as they were, as well as the removed cable lock as it was when you when you saw it on that date?
Yes.
Your Honor, the State of Iowa offers into evidence State's Exhibit 59.
No objection.
59 is admitted.
So is it correct, I put up 59 now for the jury to take a look at it. Is it correct to say that this is the cable lock now after you removed it?
Yes, obviously, it's been cut, and you can see the severed shackle portion of the cable lock there.
All right. And then we have a yellow object here. Could you describe to the jury what that is?
Yes, the yellow object is the 20 gauge fired shot shell casing manufactured by Winchester. You can even see on the outside of the shot shell casing, if you look close enough, there's a number 6 to the bottom of that casing, which indicated that it was originally loaded with number 6 shot. It's a fired casing. You can see by the mouth that it's kind of wrinkled. It has some dimples at the mouth of the casing, or the right-hand portion of the
Is this the area you're talking about here?
Yes. So it's obviously been opened up, and everything that was in the shot shell has now been fired from that particular casing.
There's another object in below it, a red object. Could you describe that for the jury?
Yes, the item on the bottom is another shot shell. This one happens to be red and is a 12 gauge shot shell. It's a live shot shell. It's ready to be fired. Can't really see it, but eventually I had to poke a couple of holes in that shot shell and forcefully pry it from the magazine tube. I think there's some other photographs that kind of show that, but that's a live shot shell that came from the magazine tube of the shotgun.
At this point, the yellow shot shell, the one that's been fired above the gun that we see in this exhibit, is that the one that came from actually inside the chamber of the gun?
That's correct. That one came from the chamber. That was the last one that was fired in this particular shotgun.
And then this red shell down here was in the magazine?
That's correct.
Showing you State's Exhibit number 36. Can you identify that exhibit for us?
Yes.
And what is Exhibit 36?
State's Exhibit number 36 is the same shotgun that I was asked to examine that was submitted by Special Agent Jobs, same one that you see in the photograph.
All right. Now I wonder if you could, in a safe manner as possible, explain the operation of Exhibit 36 to the jury so they understand how it functions.
Sure. Again, this is what is called a bolt action type of shotgun because it has a bolt or a handle that works the bolt. The bolt is this large cylindrical steel piece that's inside of the receiver. This would be the receiver part of the shotgun, the steel part at the back side, and of course the barrel is on top and front of the receiver. this particular shotgun can be loaded in a couple of different ways. If the bolt is closed, you can simply just load several shot shells, live shot shells, into the magazine tube. This is the portion of the magazine tube that we were talking about earlier, and we can simply load the tube by sticking a shot shell underneath the receiver and up and into the tube, which has a follower, a metal or plastic piece that's spring-loaded that pushes all of the ammunition towards the back of the magazine tube, so that when we work the bolt, it takes the shot shell from the back side of the magazine tube up and into the chamber, which is at the back of the barrel, and it's now ready to be fired. So that's the first way that we can load it, to stick one into the magazine tube. We would have to work the action of the bolt, simply lift it up, back, and on the forward movement of the bolt, it would take one of the shot shells that has been released from the magazine tube and into the ejection port here, and it pushes it up and into the chamber of the shotgun. Once we push the bolt forward, we can lock it in place, and now that particular shot shell that's in the chamber can be fired. The other way that we can load this particular shotgun is, instead of loading one into the magazine tube, is to have the bolt open and just to simply drop one of the shot shells into the ejection port here at the top of the receiver. Once we drop a shot shell in, if we hold it correctly so it doesn't fall out, we can just simply push the bolt forward again, lock it in place, and now it's ready to be fired. So either way will work. Once we've got one in the chamber, we can load another one into the magazine tube, or initially we could load several into the magazine tube and then just work one of them into the chamber, so that we have one ready to fire and possibly 3 or 4 in the magazine tube ready to be fired after the first one has been.
Now, Exhibit 36 is what gauge shotgun is that?
This is actually a J.C. Higgins shotgun that is manufactured for a 16 gauge shot shell.
So the proper ammunition to use in that is 16 gauge shot shell.
That's correct.
And yet you've told us you found a 20 gauge shot shell in the chamber. And could you show the jury where you would have found that at when you say you found it in there?
Yes, it's kind of hard to see from here, but actually the chamber would be just in front of this ejection port, of this little window. The chamber would actually be the back portion of the barrel. That's what holds the live shot shell when it's ready to be fired. So initially when I looked at this particular shotgun, the bolt was already back, as you can see in the photograph. And all I had to do was simply look down into the chamber, and you could see a fired shot shell casing. It had a firing pin impression. You know that it's been fired, and then it was simply removed after that.
Let me stop you there if I could. If Exhibit 36, the normal position for this to be in ready to fire would be with the bolt closed like that, correct?
That's correct. The bolt has to be closed, and usually in a locked position, then you can pull the trigger and fire the shotgun.
Okay. Closed is when it's slid forward. Locked is when it's slapped down like that.
That's correct.
Now, when you have a gun in this position, how can you see what ammunition is loaded into the chamber if there's anything in there? How can you check to see if there's ammunition in the chamber?
You can't really.
What do you have to do?
We have to
Could you show the jury?
You have to unlock the bolt. Actually, the shot shell's here. It's totally enclosed, which is a safe condition. You don't want that shot shell to go off when it's visible. Obviously, you could have some injury to the shooter. So everything is totally enclosed inside of the barrel. In order to find out if there's a fired casing or a live shot shell in the chamber, you have to remove the bolt from the back side of the chamber just by simply unlocking it and moving it to the rear. Normally, if there was a shell casing or a live shot shell in there, it would be removed from the chamber by the action of the bolt. There is a metal piece on the right side of the bolt, which is kind of like a little claw. It's attached to the bolt, and it wraps around the rim of the shot shell. And when you pull the bolt to the rear, that claw grabs the shot shell and it pulls it out of the chamber. Whether it's fired casing or it's a live shot shell, it's going to pull it out of the chamber.
I'm with you, Bobby. I need a break from his S's. I need to take an earbud out. Okay, yes, it surprised me too that neither shell matched the firearm. It made me, I'm with you, Ash. It made me think that she said that he loaded it, but it does make lean me towards she probably loaded it. And when they were, showing you how to load it, and I know that's a loud noise anyway, that makes me think maybe it wasn't in the bedroom with them, because if he heard that noise, that's a pretty distinct noise. I'm wondering if she took it into the bedroom to use the phone and either just did it or he moved and she did it. I will take your word on that, Snipe. I am not versed in that type of ammo at all. J.C. Higgins. Should have made those for J.C. Penney's and not Sears, John. I've never seen a 16 gauge or bolt action firearm. I need to be careful. Do you think it proves she loaded it? He would not have put that in there. Yeah. Or he may have been crapulous when he loaded it. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not assuming he knew more about firearms than she did. However, the defense didn't testify in their opening statement, stated that everything was his. The house was his, which would make sense that he got it from his mom after she passed away. The money, I'm sure, was all his, even though he wasn't working. The cars were his. Everything was his, so she probably didn't have access to those things, would be my only guess, whoever. And with her stepdad being the kind of guy he was, my guess is she probably didn't do much with him if she didn't have to, because she probably didn't want to be alone with him. So, if you want fish cakes, you eat fish cakes. Icky. That does not sound good. Is that like a fish stick? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Is that she loaded it outside of there and had it ready to go. Because that's loud. Your pinky is 6 inches. Okie dokie. Yes, buying one is not the same as knowing what you're doing with one. I'm just saying, because all that stuff was his, she didn't touch it. She didn't touch his stuff. She didn't touch his tools. She didn't touch his anything, unless he wanted her to. Oh, a salmon cake. Salmon patty. Okay. Still enjoy to your heart's content. I'm not commenting because it could all be taken wrong, Flash. Okay, I needed that little break. Also, all the law enforcement people, their S's are just about to blow my eardrums out. All of them have done it. The guy last night did it. All right, Haley. If I ever come to the UK, I will try your fish cakes. I have a feeling if Bad Dazzler's listening, he might have a comment to that. He might. I would be so angry if I was married to someone with all kinds of awesome tools, but I wasn't allowed to touch them. Yeah. But I don't think she was. I think he controlled everything. I was not going to say, nope, you don't know what I was thinking, because that is not what I was going to say at all. I was going to say that I like salmon, but I don't like salmon patties. Thanks, Haley. I hope you're ready to try your fish cakes should I ever get to the UK. Okay. Gabby will be jealous, though. Just saying. Back to the yeser, whisperer, whistler, whatever.
This particular bolt has an extractor, as we call it, but it doesn't have the claw. So every time you pull the bolt to the rear, the shell casing is going to stay inside of the chamber. It's not going to be pulled rearward. I think it's probably just been rusted a little bit and worn, and that claw portion of the extractor is either broken off or fallen off, and obviously it doesn't work correctly. So normally, by pulling the bolt to the rear, you should either extract and eject a live shot shell or a casing if there was one in the chamber. In this particular case, the shotgun does not work correctly.
But if I wanted to see, if I picked up this gun and if I wanted to load it with a 20 gauge shell, I could just drop it in here and then slide this forward.
That's correct.
And then if I wanted to check and see what was loaded in there because the extractor's broken, I would have to open the action and actually look inside, right?
Yes.
That's the only way I could tell that there was a 20 gauge shell loaded into this gun.
That's correct.
And I'm not sure, how hard would it be to see that it's a 20 gauge shell just by looking into the chamber?
By looking at the chamber, you could possibly see the writing at the base of the shot shell. Every manufacturer is going to put an inscription or an impression, some letters, words, numbers at the base of the shot shell that indicates the gauge. And obviously that's a safety concern. You want to make sure that you load the correct shot shell into the shotgun that you have. So at the base of the shot shell, there's going to be some type of information there to indicate the gauge. In this particular case, the Winchester shot shell casing usually either says Winchester or it says Win, W-I-N, indicating Winchester, and it'll say 20 gauge or 20GA for 20 gauge. And by simply looking into the chamber, you could see some of that writing or that impressed information that's at the base of the shot shell.
The other way would to know that it had a 20 gauge shell, or at least a different gauge than the one in the magazine, would be to actually load the 20 gauge shell yourself into the chamber.
Yes.
Okay. What about knowing that there's a different, how would one determine that there was a 12 gauge shell in the magazine, in the tube magazine that you described?
Again, just by simply looking at the shot shell that's in the magazine tube, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. Once we have this bolt in a forward position, you can see that there's a metal piece called a carrier, which is in front of the back side of the magazine tube, so you can't see that shot shell very well. Once you've loaded it in there, that carrier falls forward, and it keeps the ammunition from coming out of the magazine tube, which we don't want to happen. We want it to stay there until we work the action of the bolt, and we physically want that shot shell to come up and into the chamber, so we want it to stay in the magazine tube. So there's a metal piece that's there that doesn't allow us to see what's in the magazine tube. You may be able to see the rim, the outside portion of the shot shell, but you're not going to be able to see the writing that's on that shot shell.
So I'm going to show this to the jury. It's this metal piece here.
That's correct.
This metal piece here prevents you from seeing what's in the tube magazine here.
Yes.
And that tube magazine, that's where you saw and you found and you actually recovered the 12 gauge shell.
Yes, you can push that carrier out of the way, which is one of the things I did. Push it up and out of the way. It gets a little stuck every once in a while now, but you can push it up and out of the way. I really didn't know what was in there, but by taking it apart, physically taking the gun apart, I was able to remove it and noted that it was a 12-gauge shot shell.
And again, one of the ways to know when it's in this condition that there's a different size shell in the tube magazine than there is in the chamber is if you were the one that loaded them.
Yes, possibly, yes.
Let me show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 63, which is a bag. Could you examine the contents of that bag and tell us whether you recognize those items?
Yes, I do.
Could you tell the jury what those items are?
Yes, the items in State's Exhibit number 63 are the casing and shot shell that were recovered from this particular shotgun. Once I removed them from the shotgun, I placed them in this particular sack. I marked them, so all of my information is on the outside of the sack, including the case number, my initials, and a description of the items that are there. I sealed the bag, and then I included it in the large box that this shotgun came in, and obviously these items were to go to the latent print section to be fingerprinted to see if we could find any prints on them, and then I received them at a later time.
And that's what I was going to ask you. When you remove the shells from the shotgun, the 20 gauge from the chamber, the fired round, and then this 12 gauge from the that was jammed in the tube magazine, you handled those with gloves?
Yes.
Knowing that they would be tested for fingerprints?
Yes.
Could you examine the contents of Exhibit 63 and tell us whether those two items are in the same condition today as when you would have removed them and turned them over for fingerprints?
Just the shell casing. The cable lock is in here as well. I don't know if you want me to take that out or.
No, just the shell casing, that's fine.
So again, there are two shell casings that are present in this sack. They're basically in the same condition as when I last looked at them, with the exception of some markings that are on the outside of the casings. There's a case number, an exhibit, letter designation, and some other initials, including the initials of the latent print examiner who looked at these items for fingerprints as well. Her initials are on the shell casings, as well as mine, because we both looked at them. But other than that, yes, they're basically in the same condition.
And as far as you can tell, the cable lock is as well?
Yes, it
Just
appears to
glancing.
be in the same condition, yes.
Your Honor, the state offers into evidence State's Exhibit 63.
No objection.
63 is admitted.
I'm trying to see if I can, that's, I'm putting up the 20 gauge fired round from Exhibit 63. And I'll try to focus in. Does it show that 20 gauge designation on the face of that? Can you see that? Am I tight close enough for you?
Kind of get it in the middle there, and
Wish I could figure this out.
there we go. I don't know if you can focus that or not.
Give it a try.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there it is.
You may have to turn it just a little bit. You can see it's off center just a little bit.
Right here, though.
But yeah, on the right side of the screen, top right and bottom portion, right side of the screen, you can see the Winchester, which is stamped into the shell. And at the bottom of the shell casing, which would actually be to our left, lower left side, you can see the 20GA, which stands for 20 gauge. You can obviously tell this one has been fired. In the middle of the primer, there's an indentation, which is the firing pin impression. The firing pin from the shotgun has actually made an impression to ignite that primer, start that process that I talked about earlier, to fire the shot shell.
All right. And then you mentioned you had to, when you removed the 12 gauge shell, you had to put some holes in it. Just put that for the jury to see so we're sure we understand. This is the 12 gauge non-fired or live round from Exhibit 63. Are those the two holes that we see in the monitor that you were talking about?
Yeah, I don't normally try to damage evidence like this, but this one was really stuck inside of the magazine tube pretty well. I could not get it out, even by prying on the rim, which is at the base, that metal portion of the shot shell. I couldn't get it out, and I just stuck a kind of a punch through the plastic portion of the shot shell. Again, literally pried it by the carrier, some of the internal components of the shotgun to get it out. Again, the magazine tube is designed for 16 gauge shot shells. This is a 12 gauge, which is actually a little bit larger. I don't think we've explained the shot shells
Maybe I should
relevance in size here, but if we were to think about three different shot shells, small, medium, and large, this particular shotgun was designed for what we would call the medium shot shells, the 16 gauge. This particular shot shell, the live one that was in the magazine tube, would be a large. It's a 12 gauge. It's a much wider in diameter size shot shell. The 20 gauge, the one that was found in the chamber, would be the small. It's a much smaller diameter shot shell than what it was designed for. And actually, if you stick a 20 gauge shot shell into the chamber of this particular shotgun, it would actually rattle around just a little bit because it's loose. The shot shell is a little bit too small to be fired in this 16 gauge shotgun. On the other hand, if we were to try to load this 12 gauge, it's too wide, it's too big, and it actually probably wouldn't even go into the chamber. We'd have to force it in. If anything, more than likely it wouldn't go into the chamber at all, and it couldn't be fired. But the 20 gauge, as I mentioned, that's what was removed from the chamber. It's a little loose when you initially load it into the chamber. It will stop in the chamber, and it can be fired, as we'll probably talk about a little bit later. But it's a little bit smaller and wasn't really designed for this particular shotgun.
And that's what I was going to ask you. After you examined the firearm and were able to remove both the live 12 gauge round from the magazine and then the spent 20 gauge shell from the chamber, did you have any chance to test fire this gun using test ammunition to see if it would fire a 20 gauge?
Yes, I did. In this particular case, I used 4 laboratory reference shot shells, 20 gauge, similar manufacturer to the one that was removed from the chamber. We have quite a collection of ammunition in our laboratory that allows me to choose different types of ammunition. So I chose 4 relatively close shot shells, close in manufacturer, size, design, shot size. Everything was very close to the one that came out of the chamber. I took 4 shot shells, I loaded them into this particular shotgun and fired them. All 4 shot shells managed to fire in a normal manner. I didn't have any problem firing them at all. Obviously, I couldn't extract them once I opened up the bolt and pulled it back. Again, the shot shell casing, because it's smaller, swelled up inside of the chamber, filled the chamber, and they actually stuck inside the chamber. I had to use that cleaning rod again, stuck it down the barrel, pushed it out, and I had to remove each one of the 4 test fires that I produce in the laboratory. Those test-fired shot shell casings, the 4 that I produced, were also used to compare to the one empty casing that was originally removed from the chamber. And I did a comparison of those at a later time.
During your examination of the firearm, did you also check to see what the trigger pull is on this 16 gauge shotgun in Exhibit
Yes, I did.
36? And what was the trigger pull?
In this particular case, I measured the trigger pull. Trigger pull is just the amount of force rearward on the trigger that you have to place in order to discharge the firearm. Okay, so in other words, if I were to hang the shotgun straight up and hang a weight from the trigger, how much weight could I put on a string hanging from this trigger before the shotgun goes bang, okay, before the trigger disengages and the shotgun fires. So you can hang different weights from the trigger. I also have a large rod in the laboratory that goes through the trigger. It's designed to measure the trigger pull on firearms. There's a large rod with a hook that goes through the trigger, and you can hang it from the shotgun or vice versa, just the opposite direction, and I can pull on the shotgun. The hook will pull the trigger to the rearward position, and I actually have a digital trigger pull device that I use in my laboratory that can get down to about 1/10 of a pound and give me an idea. I do this several times, I do it 3 or 4 times at least, and get an idea of the average amount of weight that's needed on that trigger to disengage the sear or to fire the shotgun.
Excuse me, I'm sorry for interrupting. What's the significance of the trigger pull?
It's just simply one of the things that we can do with a firearm to make sure that it's functioning correctly. Obviously, if it has, you might have heard this term before, a hair trigger or a very light trigger. If it has like a half-pound or a 1-pound trigger, which means it doesn't take very much force to touch that trigger and it'll go off. That can happen with some firearms that are not in good working condition. On the other hand, you can have very heavy trigger pulls, upwards of 15 to 20 pounds, and it takes a lot of force to pull that trigger to the rear in order to discharge the shotgun. This particular shotgun had a trigger pull of about 4 to 4 1/4 pounds. Normally for a long gun of this type, I see anything from about 3 to 5 or 6 pounds. That's pretty normal when it comes from the factory. So this particular shotgun, the trigger was working correctly and did not have a light trigger pull or a heavy trigger pull, and it was pretty normal for this type of firearm.
You explained you use those test firings also to determine a possible distance in the muzzle to target distance in the shot that killed Scott Shanahan. You test fired those shells from different ranges to identify the various patterns produced by the shotgun?
Yes, I did.
And then did you have a chance to compare those patterns against the statement? Yes, Your Honor.
We need to break first. Do you want to break? If you want to finish a question or something, go ahead.
We can break it.
Okay, all right. We'll give you a lunch break. I don't want to keep you too long. Remember the admonition I gave you earlier. Do not listen to or discuss discussions or discuss yourselves this case at all. Enjoy your lunch. We'll see you back at 1 o'clock.
All rise.
Please be seated.
Court is in session.
You just take a seat, Mr. Mello. You're still under oath, and you continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. As we were getting ready to break for lunch, I was asking you about a distance determination you did, but before I get into that, I should ask you just a couple more questions about the 20-gauge shotgun shell, the spent one you got out of the chamber of the shotgun. Were you able to confirm through examination and testing that the 16-gauge shotgun had actually been the gun that fired the 20-gauge shell?
Yes, I did.
And could you explain how you did that for the jury?
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, there were 4 test-fired shot shells that were fired in this particular shotgun. Obviously, I saved all of those, and those were my known tests. Those were compared to the one empty shell casing that came from the chamber that was in the shotgun. There are a couple things that we can do microscopically to make an identification, if possible, try and determine whether that empty casing did in fact or was in fact fired in that particular shotgun. First thing that I did is I looked at all of my test fires, and I look at the firing pin impression, which I think I mentioned earlier, that impression that's made by the firing pin when it hits the primer. Down inside of the crater of that firing pin, there are some unique markings that I can look at, kind of like a fingerprint that's left by the firing pin. I can also look at what we call breech face markings. That shell casing, when it's fired, is going to slam back against the back of the bolt, or the front of the bolt, back into the chamber, and there are going to be some unique markings that are impressed in the metal of that primer. Another fingerprint that I can look at. So what I did was I looked at all of the test-fired casings, compared them to one another, and made sure that they all had the same fingerprint, if you will, the same pattern of individual unique markings that are present on the shot shells. Once I knew that there were quite a few individual characteristics present, I can take one of the test fires, compare it to the unknown, the one that came out of the chamber, and see if they are in fact the same. Once I do that and everything matches, I know that the unknown casing, the one that came out of the chamber actually was fired in that particular shotgun.
And so based on that comparison process, can you tell us, was the 20 gauge shot shell from State's Exhibit number 63, that's the yellow shell that you took from the chamber, was this fired by Exhibit 36, the shotgun?
Yes, that casing was positively identified as having been fired in the shotgun.
And then as we were breaking for lunch, we were discussing a distance determination you did. During those 4 test firings of the laboratory ammunition, the 20 gauge ammunition that was similar to that yellow shot shell that, from Exhibit 63, you did those at different distances from a target?
That's correct. What I did was I set up 4 different targets at 4 different distances from the muzzle end of the shotgun, or the far end of the shotgun. I measured them with a ruler, very simple, and I fired one of those shot shells into a target at a distance of 3 feet. Again, the end of the muzzle, the end of the barrel to the target was 3 feet. I looked at that particular target. I set up another target, test fired another shot shell at a distance of 6 feet, and then another one at 9 feet, and another one at 12 feet. And so I have 4 different targets that I can look at to determine the size of the pattern that's being produced by the shot. All the little BBs, all the little spherical pellets that are coming out of the barrel are going to, first of all, be in an area the size or the diameter of the end of the barrel when they come out. The farther away from the barrel you get, the more the shot starts to spread out, spread apart. The less dense the pattern is going to be, and the larger the pattern is going to be. So for instance, if we were to shoot from 30 feet away, we would see a pattern that was probably 10 inches or so in diameter. You figure usually about 1 inch of spread of the pattern of shot for every yard of distance from the end of the muzzle to the target that we're shooting at. So if we're 3 yards away or 9 feet away, usually it'll be 3 inches in diameter, the shot will be. The shot, when it leaves the barrel, actually comes out in kind of a conical fashion. It starts out very tight, and then it gets farther and farther and farther away. The larger the pattern is being produced by that shot, the farther you are from the target. So what I did in this particular test, I shot, again, 4 different test patterns into just some simple cardboard, heavy cardboard material, and I looked at the pattern that was being produced by the shot at those 4 different distances. And then I used those shot patterns, compared them to what I saw on the victim. The victim obviously had a wound, an entrance wound on the back of his head. I looked at that and tried to make a determination as to distance the muzzle end of the barrel would have been to the victim during the original shot.
And in comparing that to the victim's wound, did you use the measurements of the wound pattern that were produced from the state medical examiner's autopsy? Let me show you exhibits 53 and 54. The medical examiner has identified, this is exhibit 53 here, she's identified this circular area here. Part of the circle is missing, but as the wound, is that what you compared the diameter of this wound with your test firings?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that particular photograph. I actually used photographs that were taken by our crime scene team who were also present at the autopsy. There were about 3 or 4 different photographs that I used. One that had some of the skin attached that may have been taken at the scene, and some that were taken at the autopsy. But yes, this is what I was looking at, was the diameter of the hole that you're seeing in the skull here, and trying to make a determination of distance from the size of that hole.
And were you able to reach a conclusion as to an approximate distance of from the muzzle or the end of the barrel to the injury sustained by Mr. Shanahan?
Yes, I was.
Could you tell us what that was?
In this particular case, once I got past a 6-foot distance, okay, remember I'm talking about the end of the muzzle to the target. Once I got past 6 feet, the two targets that I shot, I think at 9 feet and 12 feet that I mentioned earlier, the shot begins to spread out away from a good solid hole. At 3 feet and at 6 feet, I produced one solid hole, very similar to what you saw on the skull of the victim. Once you get past 6 feet, the 9-foot target and the 12-foot target, I produced a pattern that was much larger. And I even have those targets here. We could show you, how they spread the farther you get away.
Okay, so he's settling on 6 feet. I'm thinking of their bedroom. So like probably when she just came in the door then. Maybe. Because I'm not laughing at the crime because it's not funny, but yeah, I was just assuming they measured the room. Iris, I just realized that you changed your name to Irish. Or maybe it's always been that way. It's close. Okay. There was none of his DNA was on the barrel. Oh, Ireland in 2 weeks. Got it. Awesome. So no blowback, I guess, is the correct term on the barrel. There's none of his DNA's on there. Oh my gosh. Did she just get lucky? Or is she like perfect crime scene cleanup person? Or did everything just like Snipe said earlier, just go in? We don't see the front, so we don't know if anything came out the front. I don't think they talked about anything coming out of the front of his head. I'm trying to not be graphic. Did everything seriously just like go in and land? And even from 6 feet though, that firearm is huge. I guess that doesn't mean it's more powerful, I guess. I don't know. I don't know my firearms. I was waiting to hear that answer. So, but now I'm just more confused. I don't know. This guy. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it now. I don't need call Runkle. He'd be like, who is this? I don't hunt. But yes, people hunt out here. I could find the answer, but I don't hunt. I think it stayed in the mattress. His head was hard. I know you're not. I know you're being serious, but he was hard-headed. Oh, I know. He is. But he still would be like, who is this? That's what she said. Sweet. Iris. On one of your little excursions, you're going to have to swing through Indiana. I'm telling you. Mo and I are like 20 minutes apart from each other. It would blow stuff all over. It wouldn't blow stuff all over like you see in the movies. Okay. All right. Well, then, okay. So 6 feet probably put her by the bedroom door. I mean, we're guessing. I hope he actually had the measurements. If he would have said 12 feet, I would have said he probably BS. There's no way. 6 feet's feasible. 3 feet would have been a little close for me, and not to get anything on the firearm. I did not. I would have rather done almost anything else other than that. Where in the middle of the U.S. is that? Your context is Texas, Mid-State, Chicago. I am about 4.5 hours south of Chicago. Yes. Southeast. Chicago, Indianapolis. I'm an hour from Indianapolis, if that helps you. I'm right next door to Chicago. I'm right next door to Illinois, to Chicago. Just further south. That's where I'm at. Oh, Bad Dazzler. I'm in it right now. I'm in it right now. West of the Bronx, correct. I am west of the Bronx. Also, I told you guys I was facing... What did I tell you? I was facing west last night. I lied. I was facing east. I'm telling you, the state has got me all turned around. It's not my fault. It's probably the basement. Thank you. So far, I've been okay, except for that one time. That one time. Well, see, now you have a reason to come visit. I won't ever take you in my basement. I mean, it's got steps. Carmen's dog won't even come down here. But mine will. Okay. Basements mean they flood. They can flood, but not always. That's right, Heidel. Not always. I would not push you to go down. I wouldn't push you into the basement either. I might try to lure you down there with alcohol. Maybe there's alcohol in the fridge downstairs. Carmen's dog is smart. Yeah, she's annoying sometimes. And a well, which is why the dog won't go again down there. I don't have a well in my basement. I'm not the Ring. Or wherever that well was. Yeah, I don't know about that. Rue can smell the bodies. Don't out me, Haley. Normally means whips and chains, but different basements. Yeah, I'll put your, what do you want, tequila or whatever you want down here. I knew you were listening. I don't care for basements or attics. Attics can be freaking creepy. Because you got to worry about falling through the floor and those things. I do not have a slot machine in my basement. Oh my gosh. Basement, but you can't fall through it. You're not going to fall through the basement floor. That would be insane. Third time, try hit stuff too close with shotgun. It makes a clean circle. Oh. Oh, you're going for the Silence of the Lambs. I don't have one of those either. I will not tell you to put the lotion on the skin. Garages are cool, Bobby. Don't be jealous of garages. Yes, that would be... Yes, if you fell through the basement floor, it would be a random sinkhole. Yes. I mean, yes, if I was a, serial unaliver. If I was John Wayne Gacy and didn't want to put him in the crawl space because I wanted to hide the smell, I would call Dixie. Because she apparently knew how to do it. Alright, I have that much. I have that much lotion. And it's a bad out. That's all I got down here. Down here. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right, Carmen. I will. I know you're coming up here to see her, and I'm just going to be here. It's fine. But I'm sure you'll call me some morning, not on the weekend. But call me not on the weekend. Yeah, I do have my lotion in the basement, and it's going to lower it into the well. Afro Man he does not. I don't want him to write a song about me. It does make it smooth. Does make it smooth. So I do have lotion in the basement. Probably call you on my way home so I don't. But well, yes, please don't fall asleep driving. Glad you live close. Those are not in the basement. Don't. No. She knows better. It's way too busy around here in the weekend on the weekend mornings. She knows better. All right, we're almost done with this dude. Oh my gosh. 7 more minutes. No, I don't have Powerade and antifreeze in my basement. Good grief. I do not have an unaliving spot in my basement. But I do have a fridge. And it can hold alcohol if I need it to for Iris. He does. You have no idea. She has a tiny terrace on the weekends, and I also watch Madison. So it is tiring for me, Carmen. You have no idea. My back has been killing me all week. It's so sad. Your dad and I are, and we are. We're kind of sad right now. We're kind of sad. I'm just saying. They are not the same. True. True. They called AJ the red bottled menace. No, they didn't. Who said that? Carmen knew better about the crow and about the jellyfish. Carmen was a little rebellious child. And that's what I'll say about the crow. She's an adult now. So if she rebelled against her own advice, that's on her. I wasn't there. So that's on her. And if she didn't learn her lesson, that's also on her. Oh, Shani. Yeah. Have you ever pet a bee? They actually like it. No. I don't kill them. Yes, Carmen, I told him about your typo. Well, go eat the cat. Don't. Never mind. That's true. That's what we say now. She tried my patience a lot. Shouldn't do that so much now. AJ has an atlas. She's been on the road since June 27th, 1992. Hey, that's when I got married. What? That was her typo, Bad Desert. That was her typo to her supervisor. Was that she fed the dog, she ate her Lunchable, she talked to Cheyenne, or then she eats the cat, and then she talks to Cheyenne. Oh, well, You didn't tell me they were listening. I only said it today, and nobody was really here, so now they know. And then laughed afterwards. Yep. Yes, Flashman, that is when I got married. But now that's only known as Madison's birthday. Oh, I didn't see this part. See, I was thinking like your supervisor just glossed over that part, and like he or she didn't catch that, really. Got it. That's interesting given the context. I'm lost now. I'm Lucky Cheyenne. Okay. All right. We got 7 minutes. 6 minutes. 7 minutes. I don't know. We're in between 6 and 7 minutes left of this guy. That means the state has to almost be done, or the defense doesn't ask any questions. Which is sad. Either way. All right, let's that would be bad. Oops. Hope it wasn't a picture. Oh, it should be confusing. It's Carmen eating a cat. Well. No, they flat out said, I see what you slid in the middle of that text. I said, what? And then I realized what I typed. They noticed. Okay, good. It's funny. Bad to answer. Don't answer that, Carmen. I don't need to know.
So in this particular case, my determination was that the shot had to have been approximately 6 feet or shorter in distance. It's possible it could be just a few inches. It's possible it could be the maximum of 6 feet that we were looking at, or approximately 6 feet. I think I had to be a little bit conservative in my answer here because, again, I wasn't at the autopsy. I wasn't able to look at the skin and the tissue. Normally when I do this type of test, I do it with clothing. Usually somebody's shot and I look at the clothing. I look for residue. I look for powder particles. I look for a lot of other things other than just the size of the pattern. But all I had to work with was the photographs and the testing that I did, and still I can come up with an approximation as to distance.
All right. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. After you looked at the gun that's Exhibit 36, where did it go?
Initially, when it came into the laboratory, as I mentioned, I took some photographs, unloaded it, repackaged it, and then it was stored in our evidence receiving area. From there, one of our latent print examiners checked the item out. She obviously looked for fingerprints on all of the items. I mentioned her initials were on the items, and I believe that was it. It would have gone back to the evidence room after that, and then I looked at it. I don't believe it was looked at by our DNA section, but I'm not sure if there was Paul Bush would have probably been the one to have looked at it if, for instance, he was looking for blood or tissue or something like that was on the shotgun. I don't recall whether that was actually done or not, but usually I'm the last one to look at all the items when I do my testing.
You weren't this time, apparently.
I'm sorry?
You were not the last one to look at it this time.
I believe I was, yes.
Didn't it go to fingerprint after you?
No, it went to fingerprints first.
And then to you?
Well, I initially looked at it when it came into the laboratory. I mentioned that. Took photographs, unloaded it, I make it safe. I do that with every firearm that comes into the laboratory. Okay. Once it was repackaged and then stored in the evidence room, it was checked out by our latent print examiner. After that is when I physically took the items out and I did all the tests that I've just explained today. Test firing the gun, looking at it more closely, etc.
You looked at it a couple of times then?
Yeah, I looked at it initially when it came into the lab, and then I looked at it more thoroughly after it went to the latent print section.
Were any other shells given to you to examine? in this case?
No, there were not.
Is the gun up there that you can get to?
Yes, it's on the floor there.
Can you show me in this gun, not me, show the jury, how far up into the magazine was the red 12 gauge shell?
The shell casing would have been at the far back side of the magazine tube. So you possibly could have seen, I think I mentioned this before, the rim or the metal part of the shot shell. The rest of the shot shell, the plastic part, the red part that you're seeing would actually be inside of the tube, and you would not be able to see that.
Don't shove it up into there, but show the jury an approximation of where it was.
Again, I can't get it into the tube, but it would have had to have been on the back side of the tube, inside of the tube, with the rim possibly showing just in front of this little carrier that we're talking about.
So it was pretty much up into there.
Yes.
Put the gun down so you don't have to hold it. As you look at the red 12 gauge and the yellow 20 gauge, now the immediate distinction you see is that one's red, one's yellow, right?
Right.
And it's a fairly readily apparent distinction, correct?
Yes.
You call this the casing? What do you call it?
It's actually the head of the shot shell, the metal part.
The metal head of the shot shell. What color is it on the 12 gauge?
The 12 gauge is actually a brass color or light brown color.
What color is it on the 20 gauge?
On the 20 gauge, it's actually nickel plated or a silver color.
When you put these side by side, are they readily distinguishable?
Yes, they are.
And I believe you testified about how a person would know that certain shells were in the gun. One would be to open it up and try to look inside of it, correct?
Right.
Another one would be to be there during the loading stage, correct?
Right.
Do we know with certainty that the wad and pieces of shot came from that 20 gauge shell?
We can't make a positive identification. All I can say is that the wad came from a 20 gauge, probably a Winchester shot shell, and that's obviously what we had in the chamber here. Same for the shot. It was lead, number 6 size. I think we've explained that already. If you look at the markings on the outside of the shot shell, it also originally contained lead, number 6. So there's definitely a consistency between what we found in the victim and the shot shell casing that was in the chamber. We can't make a forensic examination and say this wad definitely came from this shot shell. That's not possible.
That's all I have. Thank you.
At this time, the statement offering the evidence is exhibits 13 and 29, which are photographs also of the Shanahan residence.
No objection?
13 and 29 are admitted.
And Your Honor, at this time, the state of Iowa rests.
No, stop, go away. All right, we did it. We made it through the state's case. Finally. Finally. Why would you do that, Bobby? Nails? Don't do that. All right, we did it. We're good. It's hard. Bobby, I don't know. Don't do that. They do not smell like Fritos? I think they probably do. YouTube's been I tried to say not intentional, flash fan. It wouldn't let me say that. I tried to say twice to Sharon that that I did have a good Easter, and I hope she did too. Nope. So I had split that into 2 messages. Ridiculous. Like, I tried to, but I could probably type F the world, and it would be like, there it is, right on through. What? It's like crazy. It absolutely is. Absolutely. All right, well, that is all I have for today. It's a bench trial. Ooh, I love bench trials. Sometimes I am happy when I see Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I was so happy when she chose bench trial. I knew she stood a chance then. I'm a bench trial. I had to approve that, whoever. But I didn't get it approved in time to be able to put it over here in StreamYard. You were very generic with some pew-pew stuff, and it blocked several. Some I said nothing that could be taken as bangy. Yeah, it's just, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's the OJ lead prosecutor before the Simpson case. Marsha Clark. Oh, I didn't keep up that close. I just saw her press conference when she had, when she said, her attorney said that she chose a bench trial, and I was like, good choice. I have seen some bench trials that absolutely would have been probably convicted by a jury just with all the you only arrest guilty people thought processes out there. I used to be one of them. I am not that. Oh, I know that. I think I know that case, Flash fan. I'm not sure. And some of the cases, like, I was just didn't know how I would decide them, but I think they were found not guilty by a judge for a bench trial, and I think it was the right call. I don't know what I would have done on a jury. I did see that Baker was talking about that today, but I wasn't home, and I didn't get to hear what was happening. I feel horrible for her, and I hope that she gets to see her baby soon, because, man, it has been, that poor baby and her have not had time to bond. Oh, yeah, okay, that's who I thought that. Yes, well, I was actually alive when that happened, Flashman. I know that will shock you, and I do remember it. It was very sad. It was very sad. I've seen some butterflies around here. The super silent flapper. I love butterflies, and they are welcome to silent flap around my yard. And I said flap. There's an L in there. Anytime they want. I'm happy to see them. He's a firefighter. Good grief. Oh, I knew that. I knew that part. Butterflies are butt. No, they're not. Yeah, well, I was a youngin'. I was a youngin' back then. Flashman. Yes, they do. I love them. They make me happy. Well, that's why they don't like you. Don't tell them they smell bad. How do you know what a butterfly smells like? I think I I don't know how old I was. I don't know. I was probably in high school. You didn't... I didn't like them first. All right. That's... I didn't say that I knew that's how dogs' paws smelled like Fritos is because I had sniffed them. I read that. I read that. Yeah, and how? How? Was it a dead butterfly? Is that why it smelled? You don't have to I know that one's on. I have that one, Flash Fan. For Schaefer, I was a mommy with no more kids coming. I'm thinking he's confusing them with bats or moths. Actually, Bobby, I read that as get wrecked. What? Yeet. Pencil drop. Don't make me do it. I'm picking it up. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, that's all I got. That's it. You're trying to eliminate some trials from... What? You're trying to eliminate some of your trials by pushing them over here? I see what you... I see you, Flash Fan. I see you. The Mothman rules. All right. Whatever. That's it. That's it. See you guys Thursday. I won't be here tomorrow, as far as I know. If something changes, I will throw that stream up there. But I don't think that it will. But I never know. People are weird. That's all I got to say. See you guys on Thursday, unless you see something before then. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Have fun. Don't smell the butterflies. Just look at the butterflies. They're pretty. And enjoy them. And enjoy the rest of your night. Bye.
Hot mannequin love is kinda uncanny. Click, like, subscribe, ooh, piece of candy. Looking for my spotlight, chasing my vibe. Still looking for my credibility online. Ooh, hot mannequin love, candy on the floor, don't pick it up. Chasing all the clicks, chasing all the views. Credibility's hiding, but I'm bringing you the news. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go. Every little scroll is a mystery, but you stuck around, watch the show with me. Laughs and chaos, that's how we roll. Drop a comment down below before you go.